unexpectedly traversed the world of cyber games and perfectly inherited a week's worth of physical talent. Is the beautiful girl's partner about to be killed by the plot at the beginning? It doesn't exist. An accidental task unexpectedly caught the attention of the company's wealthy lady. Strong enemy, cyberpunk, company dog. Just a group of experience packs. What's really difficult to deal with is them. Keywords of the novel. Berzumu, I was entangled in them without a pop-up window. Berzumu, I was entangled in them for downloading the complete TXT collection. Berzumu, I was entangled in them for reading the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Perfect start. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Perfect start. In the dimly lit room, the sound of keyboard tapping was like raindrops falling outside the window. The dim light from the computer screen shone pale on Lu Feng's face. 38 hours of non-stop sleep, full guide to the hidden ending of Cyber Legend. Cyber Harem, full process of female supporting strategy. The video was successfully published. As the host of the game strategy section, Lu Feng immediately cleared the hidden ending called Cyber Legend and posted the task process online. The hidden ending is a must-do ending for achieving platinum success in this game. In order to complete the hidden ending, Lu Feng first ran through the regular ending in its entirety, then kept reading and reviewing the files, trying to figure out the various Easter eggs. The notebook beside him is well remembered, which not only records the main storyline, but also details the process of side quests for female NPCs. In the game, all female NPCs who can develop a favorable impression on players are playable, from inheritors of large companies to good sisters who play hard together on the streets. The powerful interaction system of the game allows players to communicate with NPCs beyond just dialogue, such as acting as intermediaries to delegate tasks. Players can take their good sister to battle in all directions, or activate the NPC's network to complete tasks without any bloodshed. If there is no commission, you can also take your sister to race cars, watch movies, and improve your impression. In order to unlock more exploratory content, the home system allows players to choose an NPC resident, giving them a cozy little home in the vast cyber world. The hidden ending of the game, Age of Despair, is not a happy end. The player will eventually confront the company head on, with brothers who had a close relationship dying tragically under the company's building, and a wandering family that roamed the wilderness together being washed away by the company's bloodshed. When choosing this ending, some female NPCs will also leave the player due to values issues. Those who are willing to adventure with the player, even if the player tries to protect them throughout the process, will be forced to go offline by various plot killings. And the character played by the player will eventually become a cyber madman due to losing heart, infiltrating the network control center, releasing the cyber virus to infect the entire network, resulting in a sharp decrease of 1/3 of the city's population. The large companies in charge of the city's lifeline have also been paralyzed due to network crashes and the invasion of virus AI. Stocks have plummeted, market value has evaporated, and the company's internal structure has become chaotic, ultimately leading to its collapse. At the end of the day, this is a result of fish dying and the net being broken, with no one winning. After the video was finished, Lu Feng climbed onto the bed. He hasn't slept for 2 nights just to do the strategy, and now he can fall asleep just by touching the pillow. As soon as I closed my eyes, disharmonious sounds came to my mind. Protocol intrusion successful, Lu Feng flipped over, thinking it was an illusion caused by playing the game for too long. Congratulations on getting the opportunity to enter Cyberworld. You can now immediately start the world of anime. Is it enabled? Yes, I want to do another vote. Sounds great. The continuous sound made Lu Feng notice something unusual, and those 2 options floated in front of him. Is there any difference between these 2? Lu Feng mustered up his energy. Lu Feng is naturally going to play in the second week, as the subsequent strategy still requires collecting all the items, but he only wants to rest well now. Great, you choose to do another vote. What? The thinking in Lu Feng's brain was like a stream of data, making choices directly for him. The drowsiness surged up like a tide, and Lu Feng fell to the bed in front of him in darkness. Buzzing a communication came in, and Lu Feng slowly opened his eyes, realizing that he had traveled to the cyber world. The city outside the glass window was magnificent and stunning. Lion, this is Sweet Potato, whoa, sweet potatoes. Lu Feng scratched his head and suddenly remembered. Sweet Potato is an NPC in the game, whose real name is Xiao, and is a unique female NPC for Street Boys at the beginning. So, I should be following the starting line of Street Boys. Lu Feng rubbed his temples and regained his energy, saying, Lion received it. All the preparations are ready, and we are about to take action. This is my first time on a mission, and I feel so excited just thinking about it. Xiao's voice was crisp and lively, filled with anticipation. Lu Feng tapped his head, and it seemed like the beginning of the Street Boy was kidnapping the heir of Shenqing Pharmaceutical Company. Hurry up, I'll wait for you downstairs. We'll take a car to the Doomsday Bar to find a liaison. Xiao couldn't wait to urge Lu Feng, and his gaze turned to the window. In the Steel Forest, there was a very magnificent twin tower, which was the Divine City Pharmaceutical Company of Dream City and the Imperial Palace of Dream City. And as a street kid, he starts with the main storyline of kidnapping the heir of this company. In the week, this was actually a dead start with a plot kill, but now he knows what this task is all about. After sorting out his thoughts, Lu Feng almost had a clear idea. After checking his body, he was surprised to find that he had inherited the protagonist's righteousness and talent. Character: Lu Feng, age 19, talent level Level 40, 100 at most, body 5, intelligence 20, response 0, calm down 15, technology 0, street reputation 0, poor boy, ET. Equipment level 15%, frontal cortex. External disk, legendary level, memory enhancement, legendary level, empty, network access warehouse. Type, legendary level, plugin. Prosthetic eye failure, electromagnetic short circuit, restricted movement, weapon failure, self-termination, prosthetic body overheating, visual system. Kafka Artificial Eye Type A, legendary level, plugins. Critical strike enhancement, critical damage enhancement, empty, epidermal system. Optical camouflage Type A, epic level, subcutaneous armor, legendary level, empty, nervous system. Empty, circulating system. Empty, bone. Empty, arm Carlos Hook A, legendary level, perfect. Lu Feng put away his panel, perfectly inheriting both his righteous body and talent. The only regret is that his legendary weapons and over 1,000,000 yuan were not brought to Urzumu. His current street reputation is also 0, without street reputation, many weapons and equipment cannot be purchased. Even if he enters a bar, there will not be any horses respectfully calling you a big shot. However, these are not problems. Reputation and money can be gradually accumulated. He follows the hacker flow route for a week, and with this body of righteousness, as long as he doesn't die, he basically won't die. Lu Feng put on his clothes, walked through the bustling crowd in the building, and found Xiao on the first floor. Xiao leaned against the armrest, wearing a plain white coat and a black duckbill hat on his head. His black hair and blue silk slanted down from the brim of the hat. Lu Feng walked over and patted her shoulder. Xiao turned back with a smile and his clear eyes looked at Lu Feng. Did the lion go hunting outside last night? It feels lackluster, he said. Yeah, I made plans with a few girls last night, it was really exciting. After Lu Feng finished speaking, he put his hand on Xiao's shoulder. Xiao grinned and said, "What are you doing? I'm not your prey. I know, you're a sweet potato. Lions don't like to be vegetarian." The lion and sweet potato were codes chosen by Lu Feng and Xiao themselves. Hee, watch it out. After today, the code name, Sweet Potato, will resound throughout Dream City. You look very excited today, are you confident? Lu Feng put down his hand. It was estimated that the girl had not yet realized the seriousness of the matter. Of course, this time we are working with big shots. After we establish our reputation, there will be a lot of orders coming to us, and there will be a lot of money that cannot be spent. Xiao's eyes were filled with stars, and his expectant expression appeared innocent and adorable. Lu Feng sighed slightly. In the original game plot, Xiao, as Lu Feng's partner, received a boxed lunch at the beginning and was one of the few NPCs that could not be explored. When playing for the first time, Lu Feng also felt very regretful. Looking at the young girl in front of him who was full of hope for the future, Lu Feng felt a bit unreal, so he reached out and forcefully squeezed her face. Woo, it hurts, why pinch me? Xiao crossed his waist with both hands, puffing his chest out in anger. His bulging mouth and swollen pufferfish were just right, adorable. It's getting late, don't daydream here. Let's go to the gathering place quickly. The new book has been released, ensuring excitement, good looks, and guaranteed updates. We kindly ask all book enthusiasts to support and vote for it. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. This live dog doesn't do it. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. This live dog doesn't do it in the Doomsday Bar, people come and go, and this is the intelligence exchange center of Dream City, as well as the place where many intermediaries and mercenaries meet. Under the charming lighting, the cigarette butt burned fiercely, and the fiery red lips curled up were full of temptation. The air was filled with the smell of crime. Lu Feng and Xiao found this place, but as soon as they arrived at the door, they were stopped by a fierce suit man. Stop, what are you doing? We're looking for Carl. Lu Feng and Xiao are both unknown people, unable to speak here, and can only report someone else's name. Carl, let me confirm. The man confirmed the situation with the people in the bar and then asked about the identities of Lu Feng and Xiao. My name is Lion, and she is Sweet Potato. Ha, Lion Sweet Potato, what idiot code name. The thug on the ground at the door burst into laughter. Xiao turned his head and glared at him with some anger. If you laugh again, I'll break your mouth. Is it just your small body? The thug obviously didn't take this little girl, who is less than 1.7 meters tall, to heart. Even her tone of voice was so affected, as if a stubborn girl was acting spoiled. Only Lu Feng's eyebrows slightly raised, took a deep breath, and his expression subtly changed. I don't want my mouth anymore, do I? Yo, the little girl is quite wild, it's really exciting. Grandpa, I like it. Whoosh, Lu Feng's forehead fluttered, and Xiao had already disappeared by his side. The security guard at the entrance of the bar was somewhat surprised and stared at the scene not far away. Time seemed to be at a standstill, and the petite girl kicked the thug's mouth crooked at an extremely fast speed, with teeth bursting out of his mouth accompanied by saliva. The thug fell to the ground, covering his mouth and stuttering, his eyes panicked as he desperately crawled out, as if there were some monsters behind him. Xiao patted his palm and raised his proud head. Now you can say one more thing and give it a try. Military-grade semantic body. Although the security guard cannot determine which type of prosthetic device Xiao implanted, this device, which is fast enough to teleport, must have reached military level. Can we go in now? Lu Feng spread his hand. Although you have military bodies, I just confirmed that Carl doesn't know you. The security guard shook his head. What, we already said hello before. Xiao clenched his fist in defiance. But the security guard is not afraid. In the post-apocalyptic bar, no one dares to act recklessly here. Lu Feng nodded, and at that moment, the security guard received another call. During the call, Carl said something to him, and the security guard suddenly understood and let the two of them in. Pooh, a dog's eye looks down on people. Xiao glanced at the security guard after entering the bar. The atmosphere in the bar is very strong, with hot dances and dynamic music that make people want to move their bodies and bones. A rabbit girl dressed in revealing clothes walks through it carrying fruit plates and drinks. New faces, do you two want something to drink? Bartender Maria warmly waved when he saw the two. We're looking for Carl, Lu Feng explained. Carl is in the far right private room. The bartender pointed them away, and Lu Feng and Xiao saw the big shot in the right private room. Carl is a black man wearing a black spiked jacket with a large area of ghostly fire tattoos on his exposed chest. His overweight figure is somewhat out of shape, and he wears a tasteless large gold necklace around his neck. He is a wealthy and influential figure. Are you Carl? Xiao saw the big shot and his gaze looked somewhat disdainful, which was too far from what she had imagined. A big shot may not only have good clothing and image, but it's also important not to sit on the sofa like a ball. You are the famous sweet potato, right? Do you know me? Xiao's beautiful eyes slowly widened. Although Carl's image was not good, being able to be called famous by big shots made her suddenly feel like she was walking on the right path. Oh, that's not it. Military grade ED, rare goods. Carl dealt smoothly with Xiao. Although he had just learned about military-grade righteousness, it was enough to coax the little girl. Just trust me with the task. So what task is it? Lu Feng was very clear in his heart, but he still asked knowingly. He just wants to see how this fat pig behaves. Carl gazed at Xiao's agile and light body, his gaze appearing very greedy. He is interested in Xiao's military-grade righteousness. It's like this, we're going to hijack someone this time. Your mission is to hack into the network defense system and cover up my actions. Even if you beat a dog, it depends on the owner. Can you tell me who to kidnap? Lu Feng and Xiao sat on the sofa in the private room. Well, you don't need to know who the specific person is at the top of Shenqing medicine. Carl deliberately concealed the two of Lu Feng, and Xiao smiled without realizing the seriousness of the matter. However, Lu Feng frowned. It's easy to say what the treatment is, definitely much more than what others give. Carl patted his chest and his beer belly rippled. Well, your emotional intelligence is quite high, Lu Feng affirmed Carl. Oh, how do you say that? Carl's gaze changed slightly. Lu Feng didn't answer and smiled silently. Xiao also looked at Lu Feng with confusion, unsure of what he was trying to say. Let's talk about the issue of money. How much profit can you give this time? I will do the kidnapping. You just need to help me report the situation, and then solve the security and camera issues. I'll give you 20%. 20%. Lu Feng heard a big joke. This chubby guy's words are very easy. Help him report some and then take care of the bodyguards. Didn't they all do this? Young people, don't expect too much, after all, this kind of opportunity is not available to everyone. If you make a name for yourself this time, you can definitely take on orders yourself in the future. As the saying goes, giving someone a fish is better than giving them a fish. It's really fragrant, Lu Feng snorted coldly. It makes a lot of sense, right? Carl thought Lu Feng agreed. I mean the pancake you drew. Carl was stunned for a moment, then understood. He immediately explained, this time, there is a team of people working with you, and I only got 60% myself. Is it also famous? Lu Feng immediately retorted with sarcasm. Ha, you're such a funny kid. Carl laughed a few times to conceal his embarrassment. He realized that the young man in front of him was a bit difficult to deceive. The atmosphere on the field began to gradually cool down. Xiao pulled Lu Feng's hand and whispered, this is a good opportunity. Lu Feng silently glanced at her and then stood up. When will we take action? Schwenkwaren, you can come and start at 4 p.m. this afternoon. We took on this job. After reaching an agreement with Carl, Lu Feng took Xiao to the bar to sit down. When Xiao first came to this place, he found it very novel everywhere. Lu Feng ordered 2 cocktails and handed Xiao a cup. Lu Feng, what do you mean by high emotional intelligence just now? Xiao pursed his wine, but she never understood. Lu Feng poked Xiao's head. You're really innocent, so easy to deceive. In the future, you can sleep with me to avoid being deceived into bed. It's better to give me a discount. Xiao's face turned red as he twisted his buttocks on the bench. He proudly turned his face and said, I don't want it. Can we take on the job of using your brain to kidnap company executives? But Carl said, we are only responsible for a part of it. Xiao still felt that what Carl said was very reasonable. Lu Feng took a deep breath and said, do you think the company dog will play house with us? Even if we succeed, the company will be kidnapped by a senior executive. The special agent team and trauma team of the Divine City will soon depart, and the entire city will be sealed off with a wanted order. Do you think you can run away? Xiao pouted and was not very happy, but what Lu Feng said was very reasonable. This kind of work, even if we have money to take, we won't be able to spend it. Carl has calculated that we won't be able to come back. He can take this share on his own. Judging from the reaction of the security guard at the entrance, he didn't even care about us. We are just his cannon fodder, do you understand? Lu Feng pointed out. But he recognizes me. Xiao is a bit stubborn. When she was praised just now, she was still very happy. But on second thought, what Lu Feng said was also correct, to the point that Xiao was now somewhat conflicted. Lu Feng covered his face and really advised the dog to die. High emotional intelligence, you're just a famous sweet potato, right? Low emotional intelligence, muggles don't even do this job. Xiao was awakened and opened his mouth, feeling somewhat bewildered. So let's talk to Carl now about our withdrawal. No need, I have a solution. If the snake's heart is not strong enough, it will swallow the elephant. He will have to pay the price, and this is indeed a good opportunity to make a name for himself. Lu Feng's eyes flickered, and a hint of meaning flashed through his eyes. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Art is Explosion. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Art is Explosion. According to the agreement, Lu Feng and Xiao joined Carl's team. Along with Lu Feng and the others, there is also a team of lesser-known cyberpunks. A group of 6 people all wanted to become famous overnight and make a name for themselves in Dream City. Carl deployed tactics in the private room of the Doomsday Bar, while the teams of Lu Feng and Xiao were responsible for reporting points, intruding into the system network, and resolving security issues that came with support. Another team is responsible for creating chaos, luring away some bodyguards, and Carl is responsible for taking hostages. After the task is completed, there will be a floating car picking up from the hotel's aerial garden. After the tactical deployment was completed, Carl excitedly rubbed his palms. This is a big deal, and the compensation will definitely satisfy everyone. Let's go and take down the company dog together. Carl, the risk of this operation is very high. Can you rely on having 2 children who haven't grown their hair together with us? Ronald, this is a genius internet hacker. Carl walked up behind Lu Feng and happily introduced him to the cannon fodder team. Lu Feng smiled but remained silent. This chubby guy had understood the art of language. High emotional intelligence. This is a genius internet hacker. Low emotional intelligence. This kid is just a beginner with no record in battle. I hired him purely for the sake of greed. As for why Carl dares to hire Lu Feng, it is because Carl has already found a way out. The client of this operation guarantees his life's safety, even if caught, he can still escape through connections. After weighing, Carl felt that he couldn't find two experienced mercenaries because they knew how to survive crises and the prices were too high to afford. Moreover, once they discover that they have been tricked, they will definitely find trouble with Carl. So, these eager, cheap, and inexperienced mercenaries naturally became his preferred targets, and when they all died, Carl could swallow the entire high reward. Knowing this information, Lu Feng deliberately interjected and asked, "Who is the client of this operation?" "Ha ha ha, that's a real big shot, with a dragon in his head but not in his tail, and I'm not sure." Carl pinched Lu Feng's shoulder and laughed heartily. "I'm a big shot in Dream City, Carl, doing business with unknown origins." Lu Feng always speaks to Carl with a hint of sarcasm, and Carl, this old fox spirit, can naturally hear it. However, the demands of this kind of job are too high and there are many restrictions, making it difficult for Carl to find someone else to replace Lu Feng. Otherwise, he would have kicked out this kid who likes to ask questions. Do your job well, money is indispensable for you. The Lijing Hotel in Dream City is decorated with lights and colorful decorations, with pure white flower clusters displayed on both sides of the road, floor tiles reflecting light like a mirror, and polite waiters waiting at the door. Floating cars overhead landed one after another in the parking lot of the Sky Garden, where prominent figures from Dream City gathered. A rigorous security system scans every person entering the hotel, with security guards holding rifles and snipers and cyber hackers hiding in the shadows on standby. What a great day is today. Xiao is still visiting this high-end hotel for the first time, and the two of them are wearing suits given by Carl for security checks. Arriving at the hall, the waiter with shiny hair warmly and politely received the guests. The champagne and wine on display were all over the long table, and the air was filled with the smell of perfume. The festive atmosphere here completely leaves no sense of crisis. Today is the coming-of-age ceremony for Miss Chiba Ri, the future inheritor of the company, and Miss Shenqing Pharmaceutical. The company has invited entrepreneurs and politicians from Dream City to attend this ceremony, explained the receptionist politely to the two. Because the room is tight, the two of you can only choose a standard room this time. Sorry. It's okay, as long as we have a place to stay, it won't hinder them. Lu Feng smiled kindly. Okay, your rooms are at 9211, and we have activated your permissions. The front desk has opened permissions to Lu Feng and Xiao. The two took the elevator to their room. Although it's just the simplest standard room, the panoramic open environment is much brighter and more spacious than Xiao's in the old city area. Standing by the glass, you can have a panoramic view of half of the Dream City. Lu Feng, I will buy this kind of big house to live in the future. Xiao lay on the glass, admiring the bustling city scenery outside the window, and fantasized happily, after this order is made, we can also be considered influential figures. Don't let that YY go, come and get down to business. Lu Feng successfully hacked into the hotel's security system through network access to the warehouse, and the defense devices of the entire building were automatically highlighted, presented in the form of a data model in front of the two people. I saw Carl. Lu Feng found him on the rooftop of the hotel and disguised himself as a construction worker, successfully infiltrating. Lion, can you hear me? Carl successfully connected to the encrypted communication channel. Sure, Lu Feng replied. Our task goal for this time is to paint the Chiba pair. Chiba pair painting. Isn't that the heir of Shenqing Company? Xiao was surprised and quickly covered his mouth. Lu Feng pretended to be unaware and asked coldly, Carl, you didn't say before you came that we kidnapped the young lady of Shenqing Medicine. As I said, he is a senior figure in the company. The higher the risk, the higher the reward. Those who work in our industry are brave enough to hold on and cowardly enough to starve. Now, just follow my instructions, Carl replied stubbornly. Lu Feng, what should we do? Do we need to do it? Xiao looked anxiously at Lu Feng, and she began to regret it because he was someone they couldn't afford to provoke. Anyone with a bit of brain would not come to find fault with the Chiba family, which is no different from the ancient assassination attempt on emperors. Since everyone has come, I have to eat enough today and go back, Lu Feng said with a determined gaze. Good kid, it's a good piece of material. Carl is glad that the cannon fodder is full of enthusiasm. Rona and the others will create chaos at the entrance later, and some security personnel will be introduced. Lion, you will black out their defense system, and I will take advantage of the chaos to infiltrate the Chiba pair painting layer. Sweet Potato, you will take care of the supporting security personnel and gather in the courtyard of the Hanging Garden. There will be a floating car arranged by me to respond. This sounds like our task is the most challenging. Lu Feng frowned, did we catch even the hot potato? Whether I can succeed or not depends on me. Kidnapping the heir of Shenqing Company in person is a deadly job. Carl tied a rope to the rooftop and tugged hard, which was relatively secure. He held a giant hammer and checked the high explosive shells inside his prosthetic arm. Okay, I'll give you some information then. At exactly 17:00 in the evening, a floating car arrived at the parking lot of Hanging Garden. Before the floating car could stop, a young girl jumped out of the car. Miss, please be careful. Meiji Ishikawa caught up and reached out to protect the girl. The girl was wearing a cherry-red small-sleeved kimono, her dark and beautiful hair curled up in a pure white tune-flower hairpin, and her clear eyes shimmered like a spring. She raised her proud head and snorted at Meiji Ishikawa. Ishikawa Meiji is a close bodyguard painted by Chiba-ri, with a slightly burly figure. His close-fitting suit is adorned with many prosthetic equipment, making him a Cybertron. Chiba pair painting doesn't like these tin cyber people. Meiji, during the upcoming ceremony in the auditorium, you are responsible for the safety issues around you and cannot tolerate any threats. Do you understand? Miyamoto Toshi instructed. Yes, Your Excellency. Meiji glanced at Lihua and turned to go downstairs for a tour. Lihua, today is your 18th birthday and also your coming-of-age ceremony. As the inheritor of Shenqing medicine, you should behave steadily and not be childish all day long. Pay attention to the image of company leaders. You don't have to worry about me. Lihua pouted and disliked the verbose preaching of these elders the most. She left a sentence and went to her room without looking back to prepare. Yuji Miyamoto gave a cold smile and disappeared into the parking lot of the Hanging Gardens. Under the guidance of the manager, Chiba Lihua arrived at the executive suite. She stood at the door giving orders, and the manager nodded and left. All of this was seen by Lu Feng, who told Carl in the encrypted channel, you can do it now. Chiba pair is painted in room 9811. Ronald has received it, and our explosives are also ready. We guarantee to give the company dogs a little artistic surprise. Rona and others arranged many explosives inside and outside the venue through connections, and as long as they pressed the remote control, the show was about to begin. Amidst the bustle of people in the venue, Meiji Ishikawa used artificial eye perception scans to identify potential hazards one by one. When he arrived at a corner, he discovered a strange cylindrical object. What is that? He approached and carefully examined, his eyes instantly turning cold. His forehead bulging with veins, he waved his hand at the staff and shouted, evacuate personnel immediately and activate the first level of defense plan. Then he immediately telegraphed Miyamoto Yuji, this place is no longer safe, Miss must evacuate immediately. Ishikawa, what's going on? What happened? We don't have time to explain, we will face a terrorist attack. Just as Ishikawa was roaring with exhaustion, the TNT explosive in his hand heated slightly. Ishikawa widened his eyes and lay down, pressing the TNT explosive under his body. Be careful. Bang 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 bang. Book enthusiasts who want to invest should hurry up and invest to stabilize returns. In addition, please vote more and read more, because data is very important for new books. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Betrayal and Infighting. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 4 Betrayal and Infighting. The building trembled violently, with a series of explosions shattering the hotel's glass. People fleeing from the lobby rushed out, and the shattered glass on the roof smashed into the crowd, creating a mist of blood. The scene was extremely tragic. "Mr. Mayor, are you okay?" The bodyguards were covering the mayor of Dream City, and many people crowded around him all at once. "Call for support quickly, it's a terrorist attack." Mayor Ryan sat on the ground, covering his injured and bleeding forehead, screaming in fear. "We have called the DCPD, Dream County Police Department, Dispatch Center for police support, and the Riot and Terrorism Mobile Team and Trauma Team have departed. They are expected to arrive at the scene in 3 minutes." The bodyguard guarding the mayor reported to him. At the same time, amidst the thick fog generated by the explosion, Meiji Ishikawa stood up trembling with his chest covered. He was drenched in blood from the explosion, and his chest's body was shattered, revealing parts covered in gray flesh. Meiji Ishikawa took out the healing agent he carried with him and injected it into his body. No matter how chaotic the scene was or how intense the gunfire outside was, he immediately ran towards the floor where Chiba Rikuwa was located. At the moment the explosion sounded, Carl started moving, and Lu Feng and Xiao immediately took action. "Xiao, 3 teams of security guards are taking the elevator towards your side. Next, I will black out the power facilities in the building. Their elevator will stop running and they will inevitably take the stairs. I have sent you the enemy's location, which will automatically highlight. Use covert operations in the dark to solve them." Xiao received it. "Let me solve them." As soon as the words fell, the entire building's electrical facilities were invaded and damaged. More than 10 elevators came to a halt with a clang. Chiba Rihua was humming a song, beautifully dressed up in front of the dressing table in the executive suite. The sudden explosion made her delicate body tremble, and she stood up from her position at a loss. What happened? Chiba Ri was alone in the spacious suite, feeling a bit uneasy. Then she received a message from Meiji Ishikawa, "Miss, please stay in place and don't open the door. We are already on our way. Then hurry up." Chiba Lihua stayed alone in the room feeling scared and worried. Clever, she quickly found a wardrobe and crawled in. The wardrobe was not big or small, just enough for a young girl to crawl in. As she closed the cabinet door, the glass of the executive suite was violently shattered. She crouched in the dark cabinet, holding her head, and couldn't help but, Carl knew that Lu Feng would black out the elevator to hinder the speed of security support, so from the beginning, he used a rope to descend from the rooftop and smashed a piece of glass in the executive suite with a high explosive bullet from the righteous body, swinging in from outside. "Lion, I'm coming in." "Received, it's currently safe. Hurry up and take action." Carl searched around the executive suite but couldn't find the 1,000-leaf pear painting. He teased and shouted, "Where is the little slut hiding? I've heard your voice." Chiba Pear Painting was trembling in the cabinet and stammered in fear in the communication, "Hurry up, I'm going to die. Miss, I'm on my way, I'll be there soon." Meiji Ishikawa tore open the elevator door with his body and ran up the hallway. "Ha, I found you, little slut." Carl opened the cabinet door and found Chiba Pear Painting hiding inside. His face was grim and he shouted excitedly. Due to excessive fear, Chiba Lihua's pretty face turned pale, with tears hanging from the corners of her eyes and her delicate lips open, afraid to speak. Chiba Rihua was pulled out by Carl, struggling desperately, but was hit by Carl's knife on the back of the head and fainted. Miss, Ba Jie Yalu. Meiji Ishikawa has become extremely angry. He needs to run a 2-minute staircase from the power outage floor to the administrative floor. He maximized his righteous body and significantly increased his movement speed, which only took 30 seconds to reach. Xiao, we have detected an invincible and powerful threat approaching, evacuate immediately. Lu Feng found a rapidly moving figure in the building, and he knew with his but that it was Meiji Ishikawa, a later NPC or boss. Carl carried a 1,000-leaf pear painting and ran frantically towards the Sky Garden. His heart rate has also accelerated to the extreme at this moment, and now he is racing against the Grim Reaper. However, he told Lu Feng and Xiao that when they met in the courtyard of the Hanging Garden, the floating car would actually land in the parking lot of the Hanging Garden. He tried to leave the two of them here with incorrect information. However, Lu Feng was very picky. He had already arrived at the parking lot of the Hanging Garden with Xiao. At this moment, the entire building was ringing an alarm, and most of the roads were closed. Xiao wiped away the sweat from his head. Lu Feng, didn't Carl say to gather in the courtyard? Carl deceived us. The floating car will land in the parking lot, and he wants us to stay here. This fat pig is really damn it. Xiao waved his fist in indignation, and Lu Feng quickly grabbed Xiao. Now is not the time to settle accounts, just wait here, wait for the floating car to come. Carl appeared in the parking lot with Chiba pear painting and was surprised to find that Lu Feng and Xiao had already arrived. Xiao looked at him with a particularly melancholic gaze, and Carl didn't have time to explain. He shouted, "I have brought the person, let's withdraw. No one of you wants to leave." A figure appeared in the darkness, and despite being covered in injuries, Meiji Ishikawa caught up. The metal beneath Ishikawa Meiji's face was exposed, with a misaligned rib protruding from his abdomen, leaving his flesh and blood blurry. If it were someone else, it would not have died and would have been disabled. But after all, this is an NPC in the later stages of the game, and it won't be so easy to be killed by explosives. The floating car is here, I'll go up first. Carl immediately took the lead when he saw the floating car. Xiao clenched his fist, although feeling a bit scared in his heart, he couldn't help but feel a hint of luck when he saw that guy was already bleeding. Don't move, even if he has residual blood, he can still defeat 100 Xiao now. Lu Feng knew how abnormal this guy was. He had all the epic level or above righteous bodies on his body. Although the quality of righteous bodies was not as good as Lu Feng's, he was superior in all aspects, and his physical strength was almost impeccable. Drive quickly. Carl immediately told the driver to close the door and escape after getting in the car. Xiao snorted and a silhouette swooped onto the floating car. She threatened the driver with her fist, "If you dare to run, you'll die. Hurry up, otherwise we won't be able to leave." Carl saw Meiji Ishikawa teleporting and his soul was scared out. And while Lu Feng was still frozen in place, Xiao couldn't help but shout loudly, "Lu Feng, hurry up. Network access warehouse connected, Meiji Ishikawa." The personal bodyguard of Chiba Re, a pharmaceutical company in Shinsei, possessing extremely strong combat abilities and fighting spirit, current threat level. Extremely high, intrusion protocol enable, quick crack. Action limit, mandatory implantation requires 12 RAM, current 12 RAM value, Lu Feng can choose protocol intrusion to implant viruses, reduce RAM consumption, and increase control time, but now he has no chance to type code. Forced implantation 5 seconds later, Meiji Ishikawa teleported to a position 10 steps away from Lu Feng, about to punch him in the face. Lu Feng took a slight step back, and the strong wind blowing in front of him almost made him unable to stand. Action restrictions implanted, quick crack experience points, plus 100, 100 out of 1000, Ishikawa Meiji fell in front of Lu Feng, clenched his fist and angrily pounded the ground. With just one punch of force, the sturdy ground cracked through fine cracks. Lu Feng glanced deeply at Meiji Ishikawa and whispered a sentence to him. Meiji Ishikawa was stunned for a moment, then watched helplessly as he took Chiba pear painting with him. Sleeping trough, that's amazing. Carl praised Lu Feng loudly after getting in the car, you can actually black out his righteous body. You're a genius hacker. Genius, your mother. Xiao punched Carl and flipped him onto the car. Carl covered his swollen face and looked at the two with disbelief. What are you doing? Carl was a bit confused when Xiao punched him, and when he realized it, his anger was max. Stop making noise, the Shenqing Special Agent Team is here. Lu Feng saw the floating tank coming from outside through the window of the floating tank. The people inside listened and immediately handed over the hostages. Those who resist will be shot to death. Damn it, we're done. It's all you who's holding me back. Carl angrily pushed Lu Feng against the window, and Xiao approached to pull a fight. Lu Feng gestured for her to step back and then said, now listen to me and I still have a chance. I'm lying to you, ghost. The Divine City Special Forces are all perverts, we're doomed. Carl's round eyes stared at Lu Feng. If it weren't for the two of them wasting time, he could have walked on his own. You said you starved to death, cowardly to death, and brave to death. That's where it comes from, Lu Feng smiled. Give me your client's phone number. Yes, I also have the client's phone number. Carl thought of his own life-saving straw and quickly wanted to call the communication. Lu Feng directly used the network to access the warehouse and burn down Carl's communication system. Carl stared at Lu Feng in confusion, then looked like he was going to work hard. You idiot, you've cut off our last hope. Hee, is it hope? Lu Feng sneered. If anyone found out that Chiba Lihua was on the same floating car as them, he wouldn't have had time to be happy and just destroy the floating car. Now the Chiba pair painting is still on the car, and those floating tanks dare not take action. Okay, I'll give you his communication. Carl took a deep breath, but he still calmed down. Now they are on the same rope. Lu Feng accepted his communication method, scanned the floating tank chasing behind with his prosthetic eye, and immediately opened the network access compartment. Intrusion Protocols 55, E9, 77, BD, successful implantation of the crashing virus, reduced 6 RAM consumption value, quick crack. Electromagnetic short circuit implantation requires 3 RAM, current 7 RAM value, remaining 4 RAM, electromagnetic short circuit implantation successful. A floating tank suddenly suffered an electric shock and short circuit, losing power, and the front of the vehicle plummeted straight down. Quick crack experience points, plus 100, 200/1000, destroy floating tanks, character experience, plus 500, 500/1000, sleeping trough, awesome. Lu Feng was stunned by this operation for Carl. This kind of NPC in the early stage has never seen the power of hackers in the later stage. Using the same method, Lu Feng destroyed one of them again, while the remaining one temporarily bypassed them to avoid risks. Upgrade, available talent points +1, expertise +1, Lu Feng glanced at his panel and saw that a floating car had 500 experience points. He defeated 2 of them and directly promoted them to level 1. Currently, it is level 41. In the new Zhou, Lu Feng plans to build himself into a bucket number, which is an all-around type. Not only do we need to have exceptional intelligence, but our physical strength also needs to gradually improve. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. The Great Figures Who Fly and Die. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. The Great Figures Who Fly and Die. The floating car was like a shooting star passing through the dream city, speeding forward and finally landing at a remote factory apartment building. Lu Feng and Xiao got off the car, and Carl carried Xienya pair painting to the apartment. This is the agreed delivery location between him and the client. As long as Carl hijacks Chiba pair painting here, it will be considered as completing the task. Lion, we have made this order, well done. After arriving at the apartment, Carl placed his hands on Lu Feng's shoulders in ecstasy. After seeing Lu Feng's strength, Carl no longer dared to underestimate him and did not intend to monopolize the reward. Instead, he tried his best to please Lu Feng. This time you made a great contribution, you got 40%, I got 40%. If Rona dies, we'll be 5 or 5. Oh. Lu Feng replied with a blank expression. We became famous in this battle, we really tied this girl up. Carl saw Chiba Lihua unconscious in bed and couldn't help but lick his lips lewdly. Lu Feng immediately reminded him, the client doesn't want you to touch her. Of course I know that. Carl didn't have the courage either. If he really did something to her, he would probably score 5 points when he died. But my communication was burned down, so I can only contact the client through the internet. Carl found a computer and connected himself to the network. Xiao also breathed a sigh of relief. He looked at Lu Feng, who was now frowning and looking very serious and alert. She reached out and lightly patted Lu Feng, grinning with a smile, her pure white teeth slightly exposed, and stood in front of him playfully. The task is completed, we can take on big orders in the future, Lu Feng. Xiao, come downstairs with me to buy water. Buy water? I'm not very thirsty. Xiao was puzzled. No, you're very thirsty. Lu Feng pulled Xiao out of the apartment. Xiao didn't quite understand, but he still followed Lu Feng out. The two of them arrived downstairs, and Xiao asked Lu Feng inexplicably, what's wrong? Why is it so serious? Lu Feng took a sip of soda water slowly, and then it was the most dangerous time. Xiao and Carl clearly didn't realize this yet. Lu Feng found an excellent Remington rifle in a safe downstairs. Xiao, hold yourself. Defense. Ah, what does that mean? Bang! As soon as Xiao spoke, an explosion enveloped the smoke and dust, and a strong shockwave almost overturned the two of them. Be careful. Lu Feng pounced and pinned Xiao under him. Bang! A large caliber barrage poured wildly from outside the wall, piercing through it. Lu Feng pressed Xiao down to avoid danger. Lu Feng turned his head and saw the densely packed bullet holes on the wall, which were shocking. If he had slowed down a step earlier, he and Xiao would have been shot through. I'm fighting against your group of company dogs. There were dense gunshots and Carl's heart-wrenching screams coming from upstairs. Lu Feng quickly got up from Xiao's body. Xiao's face turned slightly red. Just now, Lu Feng's hand happened to touch her, but the situation was urgent, and Xiao didn't have the courage to talk to Lu Feng. Xiao, let's go upstairs. Never mind if that bastard Carl dies, Xiao didn't want to save Carl. We need to save Qinya pair painting. Lu Feng casually stuffed a solid steel pipe into Xiao's hand. What? Xiao couldn't understand, wasn't Chiba pair painting their hostage? How can we say that group of people came to save Chiba pair? I don't have time to explain. Lu Feng quietly pulled Xiao upstairs to touch. Carl was hit several times and his arm was blown out, with blood flowing out from the broken arm. He found the marble table in the kitchen as a cover and frantically shot a gap in the wall with a rifle. Chiba Lihua was also awakened by the commotion, and she crawled under the bed in fear, covering her mouth and curling up like a trembling kitten. Even if I die, I will still hold on to your group of company dogs as a backup. Carl roared ferociously, his rifle pouring bullets wildly in his hand. At the gap in the balcony wall, a figure rushed forward as fast as lightning, and the shadows flashed past. A special agent from the Divine City burst into the room, bouncing onto a marble table with two terrifying mantis knives popping out of his hands. Ah! Carl roared angrily as the bullets strafed onto the agent, causing him no harm at all. The agent flashed behind Carl, the bright praying mantis raised high, and the blade carved a silver half-moon in the air. The gunfire in the room came to a sudden halt, and Carl's head fell to the ground. The threat is clear and we are searching for the target. I'm here. Chiba pair painting saw that the damn person was finished, and she cried as she crawled out of the bed for the rest of her life. She used to hate this group of cyber people the most. They were neither human nor mechanical, and even a second glance made her feel nauseous. Now they have become their saviors, and their eyes are particularly favored. We have found her. Agent A's artificial eye scan Chiba pair painting. Execute according to plan. Received. Chiba Lihua ran to the agent's side, but it was not a hug or a flower that greeted her, but the pitch-black muzzle of the gun. A pistol was pointed at Chiba Lihua's head, and she was stunned. Aren't you guys here to save me? Sorry, miss. I don't want to. Don't shoot, I'm Chiba pair painting. Chiba Lihua knelt on the ground with her legs flaccid, her pretty face as white as snow, no longer the noble pride of the past. The trigger was pulled and a crisp sound sounded. Chiba Li's tears were half hanging at the corner of her eyes, and she still didn't know what had happened. She just stared blankly at the gun, as if accepting her own fate of death. What the agent didn't expect was that the gun had malfunctioned. Don't kill me, please. Chiba Lihua hugged the spy's thigh, tears streaming down her pretty face, and the pear blossoms dripped with rain. I can give you whatever you want, let me go. The agents were not moved at all by Chiba Ri's plea for mercy. They were born assassins and bodyguards who absolutely obeyed orders. Killing anyone was a matter of one word. Even if this person may be the heir of their own company. The praying mantis knife popped out, with blood stains still on its shiny body. The thousand-leaf pair painting hoped that the secret agent would soften their heart, but the raised praying mantis knife showed no mercy. The weapon has failed and has been implanted, limited mobility implanted. What's going on? The agent found that his body could not move. Immediately after, a silhouette rushed out quickly, hitting the agent's face with an iron rod. The agent took 2 steps back and stared at the girl in front of him in a daze. Ah, is this person a tin man? Xiao couldn't believe it. She was holding a solid steel pipe, and with the acceleration of a military-grade prosthetic body, she could smash someone's head like a watermelon with a single stick. However, when she hit this person in the face, Xiao's hand was shaken and thrown. Let's go. Lu Feng lifted the Qianya pair painting on the ground. Qianya pair painting had no strength to walk for a long time, and Lu Feng could only carry her on his back. Xiao, hurry up, I can only control him for 15 seconds. Unknown threat detected. Agent B and Agent C also jumped off the floating tank and blocked the exit. Xiao, you run fast, take her with you. And you. I can survive. Lu Feng handed the thousand-leaf pair painting to Xiao, who gritted his teeth and quickly descended the stairs like the wind, activating his military spirit. Optical camouflage A.Type open. Optical camouflage allows Lu Feng to enter an invisible state for 30 seconds, which is enough for him to quickly crack the systems of 2 black agents. Implantation of prosthetic body overheating. Self-termination implantation. Lu Feng implanted 2 types of fast cracking into the prostheses of 2 agents. With a drop sound, the crack was successfully implanted, and flames ignited on Agent B's prosthetic body. There are hackers. No, my body is out of control. Agent C struggled and took out his gun and fired it at his forehead, shattering his head into several pieces and falling to the ground. Kill the Divine City Agent, character experience points, plus 300 out of 1200, Lu Feng took advantage of this chaotic gap and broke through the window. The Carlos Hook A.Type was launched from Lu Feng's arm. Swinging from the balcony of the apartment to the scaffolding next to the factory workshop. Xiao, I have already come out, in the workshop on your left. We'll be here soon. No, leave immediately and don't turn your head back. Lu Feng shot out the hook again, embedded it in the wall, and pulled him through the factory like Spider-Man. Why? Don't ask why, I don't have time to explain, just run right. Lu Feng is now too atmospheric to breathe. He is afraid that he will slow down a step and suffer a catastrophic disaster later. Xiao was also quite obedient. With the help of military-grade ET, he ran out 500 meters in one breath holding Qianye pair painting. Lu Feng hooked himself to a safe position, turned back to look at the sky, and saw a flickering unidentified flying object approaching the factory. Bang! In an instant, the factory turned into a sea of fire, and a strong shockwave destroyed all the buildings and facilities. The rising fireball was fiery and dazzling. Lu Feng sat down, his eyes lit up with flames, and the hot wind dried the sweat from his body. Complete hidden task to unlock character. Chiba pair painting, character experience points, plus 2000, 1100 out of 1500, quick crack experience points, plus 500, 600 out of 1000, talent level plus 1, feat level plus 1, street reputation plus 1000, beginner. Lu Feng completed a task that was impossible to complete in a week, and suddenly rose to level 2. He also unlocked NPC Chiba pair painting in advance. After playing for a week, you will know the purpose. There is a preface at the beginning of the game, and Chiba Ri and Ishikawa Meiji are both post-game NPCs. Once they are unlocked in the early stages, the main storyline order will be modified. Sure enough, Lu Feng received a system prompt. Main task. The inheritor of the betrayed family, explanation. Xiao and you have saved the heir of Shenqing Pharmaceutical Company, Chiba Lihua. Go talk to her and clarify this matter, threat level. Low, reward. Task experience plus 500, item rewards. Unknown, the new book requires everyone's follow. Up and voting, please support it. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. Shi Wei. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Chapter 6. Shi Wei. After finishing, Lu Feng and Xiao met in a dark alley. Lu Feng burned the identity chip of Chiba Lihua, so that the terrorist movement team and the trauma team could not locate them through the chip. And in such a big explosion, the disappearance of the signal basically represents the death of the character. I am the heir of Shenqing medicine. If you dare to arrest me, there will be no good end. Chiba Lihua saw that both Lu Feng and Xiao were of the same age as her, and their appearance was not as rough as Carl's. She couldn't help but feel lucky and threatened to give it a try. Lu Feng didn't even eat this trick and turned his head and said coldly, "Do you think we don't know? If you know you're still catching me, let me go now. I can leave you with a way to survive. Don't you just want money, me?" Before he could finish speaking, Xiao crumpled his handkerchief into a ball and stuffed it into Chiba Lihua's mouth. Chiba Lihua widened her beautiful eyes and let out a whimper. Lu Feng saw that Qianye pair painting was still lingering, and his eyebrows suddenly turned cold. He slammed Qianye pair painting's wall against the wall and grabbed her pink neck. At first, Chiba Lihua struggled with strength, but then she had difficulty breathing, her delicate body twitching slightly, her consciousness began to blur and sway, and the movement finally calmed down. Lu Feng saw that she had reached her limit, so he nodded and let go. The girl collapsed on the ground, and Lu Feng was afraid that she would be suffocated. He took out a handkerchief from her mouth, and Chiba Lihua gasped for breath, feeling extremely aggrieved. Tears streamed down her face. "Don't force me, killing you now is like pinching an ant." Chiba Li rubbed her eyes and secretly glanced at Lu Feng. When she made eye contact with him, she felt that he was both fierce and bad, so she quickly withdrew her gaze. "Did you hear me?" Lu Feng's throat trembled as he shouted at Qianye Li, and he quickly nodded. After achieving the effect of exerting influence, Lu Feng and Xiao whispered in the corner to discuss something. Dust blew and strong winds hit, causing a large number of search and rescue floating vehicles to roar over their heads. The floating vehicles carried the logo of the Holy City Medicine Triangle. Chiba pair painting saw hope and quickly got up, wanting to rush out of the alley and attract the company's attention. Lu Feng was greatly surprised, and Xiao's reaction was also particularly fast. He opened his ED and several remnants rushed straight to the alley, pulling Qianye pair painting back. Foolish. Without hesitation, Lu Feng gave her a loud slap in the face, and the pink nose of the thousand-leaf pear twitched. Tears welled up and she immediately burst into tears. When did she receive such treatment, pampered from a young age? Today is still her 18th birthday and her coming-of-age ceremony. As an adult, she should have taken over control of the company today, but now she has fallen into being bullied by street thugs. A prominent red handprint fell on her face, and the scorching pain not only caused physical discomfort, but also lost her dignity as the inheritor of the company. If you want to die, I'll give you a ride now. Lu Feng roared uncontrollably in anger. Don't hit me. I'll give you everything you want, woo-woo. Chiba pear painting couldn't help but shed tears, its delicate and innocent appearance was heartbreaking. But at such times, being soft-hearted means being irresponsible to oneself and Xiao. Lu Feng picked up the dirty handkerchief on the ground and stuffed it into Chiba Lihua's mouth. Chiba Lihua turned her head to avoid it, but Lu Feng ignored her feelings and forced it in. More and more floating cars are passing overhead, indicating that the company is trying to find some evidence of Chiba pear painting's death from the Big Bang. Lu Feng, we have to go now. They will find us here sooner or later. Well, Xiao, help me find a bag. Bag. Xiao hesitated for a moment, then immediately understood. She dug out a black plastic bag from the trash can, poured out the garbage inside, and then placed it on the head of Chiba pear painting. With some simple concealment, Lu Feng and Xiao left this place of conflict and took a black car back to Lu Feng's apartment. After returning home, Lu Feng's tense nerves completely relaxed. Oh, finally it's over. Xiao collapsed on Lu Feng's bed. Lu Feng brewed a cup of tea, removed the garbage bag from Chinya pear painting's head, and took out the dirty handkerchief from her mouth. Chiba Lihua felt a wave of nausea in her stomach, and she knelt down with her hands and feet limp. She vomited all the dirty things on the floor. Lu Feng frowned and not only did not take care of her, but also lightly kicked her little buttocks with his foot. Go to the bathroom and get a cloth to wipe it clean. If there is any residue, let you lick it off. Chiba Lihua's movements slowed down a bit, and he kicked Lu Feng again. He covered his buttocks and ran to the bathroom with envy, taking out a cloth to wipe. Xiao looked at the former young lady who had fallen to this extent, and felt some emotion in her heart, but she suddenly realized something. Lu Feng, we're doing it for nothing, sob, Carl is dead, and their compensation has not been settled. This deadly job ultimately paid off without any reward, it's a loss. Lu Feng touched his chin and smiled, saying, it's not without gains, isn't she? Xiao stared at Chiba pear painting, who was wiping the floor, half believing and half doubting, and then looked at Lu Feng with a look of disdain. Are we going through life and death just to find you a mistress? Hi, what are you saying? Her identity is not as simple as that of a woman. Lu Feng glanced at Chiba Lihua. Chiba Li wiped the floor, carefully wrapped up the dirt, shook it in the trash can, and finally stood next to Lu Feng like a doormat. She dare not run away now, she will get beaten if she runs away. Moreover, the good opportunity just now was not successful, let alone at Lu Feng's home. Yeah, she's a time bomb. If someone finds out she's in our hands, our fate will only be worse than Carl's. Xiao understood the pros and cons very well. Lu Feng pinched Xiao's shoulder and said with a smile, then I'll suffer a bit, and she'll leave it with me temporarily to avoid exploding you. Xiao raised his head and snorted, rolling his eyes in frustration. I think you're craving her complexion, right? Lu Feng smiled but remained silent, and Xiao was too lazy to bother. Anyway, she wouldn't bring Chiba pear painting back. I'll leave first. Xiao got up from bed, and Lu Feng's face turned a bit regretful as he pleaded to stay. Aren't you staying overnight here? It may not be safe outside. No, let her warm you up. Xiao mischievously made a face at Lu Feng, then carefully walked to the door and confirmed that no one had opened it. Be careful not to die on the road. Lu Feng shouted at the door, and Xiao was taken aback. He turned around and stuck out his tongue at Lu Feng, then closed the door and left. There are only Lu Feng and Chiba Lihua left at home. Go wash yourself, clean yourself a bit. Lu Feng pointed to the location of the bathroom. Tears flickered in Xinya Lihua's eyes as he stood still. Lu Feng pulled down his face, took a few steps closer, and coldly said, "Do you want me to say it a second time?" Although reluctant from the bottom of my heart, smelling the scent from myself, Chiba Lihua still went to the bathroom. During her bathing period, Lu Feng began to inventory her level system. In this operation, Lu Feng was promoted 2 levels in a row, and his talents and specialties were both upgraded by 2 levels. Expertise in game systems is mainly a tangible enhancement, such as hacking stream upgrade expertise that can enhance the power of fast cracking or increase RAM storage values, allowing for the release of more fast cracking in a short period of time. The connection between talent and character level is a prerequisite for upgrading expertise, which is divided into 5 major parts: physical, reaction, technology, intelligence, and calm. When each talent is fully utilized, it is level 20. For example, if Lu Feng's current intelligence talent is fully utilized, he can unlock all hacker specialties and use more advanced fast cracking techniques. Upgrading, body, can allow Lu Feng to pick up stronger weapons and increase his strength. Upgrading, technology, can improve the ability to make items and allow Lu Feng to make more advanced equipment. Response, it can improve Lu Feng's combat ability at close range and enhance evasion. The improvement of calmness is relatively comprehensive, specifically the ability to carry and fight, and overall improvement. In the first week, Lu Feng played Hacker Flow. In the second week, he plans to improve his technical abilities and start by making some weapons and equipment. So all the 2-point talents of Lu Feng were focused on technology, and in terms of expertise, Lu Feng pointed out Decomposing Master, and Cost Optimization. Master of Disassembly, 1/3. There is a 50% chance of obtaining an additional part of the same quality when disassembling an item, cost optimization. Reduce the materials required for weapon production by 20%, these are 2 key technical expertise that need to be identified in advance in the early stages. After upgrading his talents, Lu Feng took another look at his panel. Character. Lu Feng, age. 19, talent level. 42, 100 at most, experience points. 1100/1500, body. 5, intelligence. 20, response. 0, calm down. 15, technology. 2, street reputation. 1000, beginner, reputation note. Although you have completed this order and returned alive, you are just a newly debuted mercenary, and no one knows that you kidnapped Chiba Ri. Remember, you are just a rookie in Act Low. Key. After finishing his talent promotion, Lu Feng and a thug swaggered into the bathroom, and the person inside the door screamed. "What are you shouting? This is my house. Can't I use the restroom?" Lu Feng stared at the frosted shower room. Although the figures inside were very blurry, the hazy outline still made the graceful figure of the girl appear faintly. The sound of flowing water outside the shower room. Chiba Lihua turned around with a sensible expression, and in the steam-filled shower room, her cheeks were as rosy as cherry blossoms blooming in early March, beautiful and moving. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Happy Birthday. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Happy Birthday. There is a cake shop in the apartment, and Lu Feng went out to order a simple cream cake. Chiba Li had just taken a shower, wrapped in a towel, and her wet long hair shone black under the light. She carefully wiped her hair, inside and out, like a kitten grooming its hair, with a sense of seriousness. Lu Feng stormed into the bathroom again, and Chiba Lihua quickly blocked herself with a wide towel. Her eyes stared blankly at Lu Feng, and her flawless face slowly fainted with a red glow. Is there anything else? Chiba Pear Painting asked carefully and softly. Lu Feng's gaze glanced at her slightly. Although she was wrapped in a spacious bath towel, she could still be seen protruding and graceful. I don't have your clothes here. Then why don't you go buy it? Before Chiba Li finished speaking, Lu Feng's voice cooled down. What are you saying? No, it's not impossible for me to wear your clothes. Chiba Lihua quickly changed her tune, and her stubborn temper was not at all noticeable in front of Lu Feng. Then you can wear it naked, anyway it's unnecessary to wear it. Chiba Lihua quickly shook her head and asked her to walk around naked in front of a man. It would be better to just kill her. Lu Feng turned his head and left the bathroom. Chiba Lihua was stunned for a few seconds, her eyes turning red as she wiped away tears. I really want to go home. Chiba Pear Painting crouched on the ground, her soft and long hair falling on her heel. She silently picked up her dirty clothes and put them back on seriously. More than 10 minutes have passed, and there is no movement in the bathroom. Are you planning to live inside? Lu Feng's voice drifted in from outside, and Chiba Lihua quickly came out from inside and kindly closed the door. At this moment, Lu Feng sat in front of the computer typing code, watching the characters scrolling on the screen. Xianya Lihua silently exclaimed in her heart, how impressive. How about you guess what I'm doing? Lu Feng uploaded the last line of code, turned around and joked with Chiba Lihua. A playful smile appeared on his serious face after a long time. Chiba Lihua was a bit uneasy. She shook her head and couldn't understand what it was. You come closer, Lu Feng smiled and waved at her. Chiba Lihua hesitated for a moment, then walked over with bare feet, feeling uneasy. Squat down. Chiba Lihua pursed her lips, tears flickering in her eyes, but after encountering Lu Feng's indifferent gaze, she accepted her fate and squatted in front of Lu Feng's knee. Lu Feng leaned forward and reached out to grab Xianya Lihua's neck. Chiba Lihua was stunned, her muscles tensed and she was too scared to catch her breath. Is it finally time to reach this point? Resistance or obedience? Lihua was extremely conflicted in her heart, her self-esteem made her unable to let go, and she didn't have the courage to confront Lu Feng again. Just as she was hesitating, Lu Feng pulled out a string from his palm, which was a personal connection. Lu Feng connected himself to Chiba Pear Painting and successfully swiped the money from Chiba Pear Painting's account. A full 500,000 yuan, no more, no less. Lu Feng felt somewhat disgusted and said, do you have only 500,000 yuan as an heir to your company? Chiba Lihua bit her lips and nodded, this is just my pocket money. If you need it, I can have someone give you money. Fart, are you stupid or am I stupid? Lu Feng glared at her angrily, and Xianya Pear Painting's eyes flickered as he silently lowered his head. For Chiba Pear Painting, 500,000 yuan is not worth mentioning, but in Lu Feng's opinion, this money is actually quite a lot. The people in Dream City cannot save money, not because their income is low, but because their income and expenses are extremely distorted. The disadvantages of the system have led to an economic crisis, and extreme wealth and poverty ultimately gave rise to cyberpunk. Here, people can even be measured by money. A Black Lightning sports car in Dream City only sells for 110,000 yuan, but this is something that many people will never be able to afford in their lifetime. After receiving the money, Lu Feng cut off the connection with Chiba Lihua. Just now, I encrypted my identity information, otherwise when I swiped money, I would have been seen by the internet censors, and they would have been able to find me right away. Lu Feng explained directly to Xianya Lihua. Chiba Lihua didn't quite understand. Lu Feng leaned closer and touched her pink face, so don't think the company is your umbrella. I can completely bypass their surveillance, understand? Chiba Li nodded obediently, like a gentle kitten kneeling in front of Lu Feng. After receiving the money, Lu Feng immediately called Xiao for communication. Xiao had just finished brushing his teeth, took a simple shower, and lay in bed. Lu Feng, is something wrong? Lu Feng's call made Xiao feel nervous. It's nothing, I suddenly missed you. What are you doing? Lu Feng smiled playfully here. Cut, you still miss me. Chiba pair painting is not much better than me. It's lonely to have such a good girl with you. Xiao rolled over in bed and said, have you been online? The news now is all about Chiba pair painting. It sounds very explosive. Lu Feng glanced at Xianya pair painting kneeling beside him. Yeah, my mom told me not to go out in the next few days. She said there are crazy people outside, ha ha ha. Xiao sat up excitedly from the bed. Your mother is right, we should avoid the limelight and go out less. Lu Feng transferred 250,000 yuan to Xiao. At first, Xiao didn't notice, but she suddenly realized that there was a huge amount of funds in her impoverished account. Wow, Lu Feng, I seem to have hallucinations. Xiao wiped his eyes, the rolling golden numbers making it hard to move his eyes. It's not an illusion, the reward for this order has been settled. There's no waste of work. Xiao was happily dancing on the bed, so much so that he woke up his mother outside the room and angrily cursed, damn girl, why go crazy in the middle of the night? You're going to die. Mom, our family has money now. Xiao jumped out of bed excitedly and hugged his mother with tears in his eyes. The communication was hung up right here. Lu Feng took a sip of tea to calm his mind. In the original work, only Lu Feng survived the mission with his remaining blood and ultimately attended Xiao's funeral. Poor mother Xiao doesn't even have the money to hire a pastor for her daughter. She gave up her rented house and used the rent to leave a box for her daughter's grave in the north of the city. Lihua pouted and Lu Feng regained his senses, focusing his attention on her. Are you unhappy? Happy. Chiba Lihua dare not vent her emotions. You're still happy to snatch your money, I never thought you had a tendency to shake em. Lu Feng reached out and pinched her face. Chiba Lihua dared not resist and could only let it ravage her. I have played and taken the money. Lu Feng began to discuss the matter with Xianya Lihua. Do you know why I caught you? Chiba pair's small mouth curled up and remained silent. This commission was actually hijacked by your chubby guy. As for the client, I still have his phone number here. Lu Feng showed his contact person to Chiba Riki, who couldn't believe that it was actually a private communication of Miyamoto Yuji. Few people know about this communication, and it was just a chance encounter. Meiji Ishikawa learned about the existence of such a communication and told Kurihiro Chiba. Lihua did not pay attention at that time. After all, they are directors of the company and have many special means of handling things, which requires such a private communication. Are you saying my uncle asked you to come and catch me? Chiba Lihua opened her eyes wide, her delicate lips trembling slightly pale. But why? Yuji Miyamoto is the uncle of Chiba Yoshiaki. After Chiba Yoshiaki's parents passed away, he has been taking care of Chiba Yoshiaki's life and helping her manage various affairs of the company. Normally, he would also supervise the study of Chiba pair painting, teach her how to be worldly wise, which people in the company are easy to use, and which ones should stay away, acting like a deputy minister. But Chiba Li couldn't learn anything about painting and was unwilling to take over the company. She only knew how to dress up all day, and someone would arrange her clothes, food, housing, and transportation, making her life carefree. No one would have thought that such an elder would choose to betray. He was originally the chairman of the company, and you are the only heir of the company. If you die, won't he be able to take over the company as your only relative? Lu Feng crossed his legs, a simple principle that was easy to understand at first thought. Is that right? Chiba Lihua still doesn't quite believe it. Lu Feng saw that she was stubborn and said, guess why the special agent who came to save you wanted to kill you? Who dares to do this in the company, and who is the biggest beneficiary? Chiba pair painting buried its head, tears swirling around, tightly gripping the precious kimono. If I don't believe it, I don't care. Anyway, I have already received the money. If you want to leave, you can leave. Now, go back to the company. I promise not to stop you. Lu Feng stood up and made a gesture of invitation to Chiba Li. Lihua didn't know what to do. Lu Feng looked very bad and aggressive, but he did save himself to some extent. Otherwise, even if Chiba pair painting was not killed by the agents, it would have been turned into ashes by the Big Bang. However, she still couldn't believe that her uncle, who had been taking care of her, would do such a thing. Let's go, let's go. You're at my house, and I'm afraid that one day the secret agents will come knocking on me. Lu Feng pulled up Qianya pair painting and pushed it to the door. Opening the door, Lu Feng signaled that she could leave. If you don't leave, I'll have to drive you away. Lu Feng's face darkened. Chiba Lihua was forced to think too late. Her communication has been destroyed, her identity information has been burned, and she is penniless. How to return to the company is a problem. If we encounter a killer agent again, Chiba Lihua shuddered, then hugged Lu Feng's arm and cried out in a rational breakdown, please don't drive me away, don't let me die, okay? Lu Feng casually raised the corner of his mouth, but pretended to be in a difficult situation. But I only have one bed at home, what do you plan to do? Can you buy another one? Chiba Lihua raised her head slightly and secretly glanced at Lu Feng, then immediately dispelled the idea. Alternatively, let's squeeze together. Sleep on the floor, you are not qualified to sleep in my bed. Lu Feng brought in 1,000-leaf pair painting and said, anyway, you Japanese people have the habit of building a floor. Chiba Lihua couldn't find any reason to refute it, but her hometown is made of tatami, which has a hard floor. But Lu Feng is so fierce, how dare she make any more demands? Gollum's strange sound sounded, and after a night of fuss, Chiba Lihua had not eaten anything yet. Lu Feng looked at the pitiful appearance of Qianya pair painting and came to the table. He opened the packaging bag and inside was a piece of cream cake. Happy birthday. Lu Feng handed the cake expressionlessly to Chiba Lihua. Chiba Lihua was stunned. She covered her mouth and couldn't hold back her tears in an instant. She used to think it didn't matter how big the cake was, but now she's moved by a small piece of cake. Thank you. Lihua took the cake with great favor, and when Lu Feng returned to his computer, he suddenly remembered that he had not yet introduced himself. My name is Lu Feng and I am a genius hacker. During the new book period, please vote and support as many as possible. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Lu Lihua. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8. Lu Lihua. There was nothing to say overnight. The next morning, Lu Feng woke up early, not because he was diligent, but because the system woke him up. Task update. Inheritors who have betrayed and become estranged from others, task description. Chiba Lihua has figured out the causes and consequences of the entire incident, but Dream City can no longer accommodate her. She now needs a new identity, go talk to her. Lu Feng's gaze turned to the shop under the bed, and he saw Chiba Lihua wrapping himself in a blanket, like a pupa, with only a delicate little head exposed. He reached out and pinched Lihua's small nose, but Lihua soon felt suffocated and opened his eyes drowsily. In his sight, Lu Feng was staring at her with a serious expression on his face, and Chiba Lihua was completely scared and drowsy. He quickly apologized. Sorry. Lu Feng. I shouldn't have taken your pillow, I'll give it back to you. Looking at the pillow handed over by Chiba Lihua, Lu Feng realized that one of the two pillows on his bed was missing. Crawling onto my bed in the middle of the night to steal my pillow. Lu Feng raised his pillow as if he wanted to hit Lihua. Lihua lowered his head and hugged his head. Wei Chu Baba said, I'm sorry, don't hit me, okay? Lu Feng threw the pillow back onto the bed and then stared at Chiba pair painting. Chiba Lihua always lowered her head and dared not look at him. The pillow has already been returned to Lu Feng, and she doesn't know where else she did wrong. Why is she staring at her like this? Don't you hate it? Lu Feng sat on the floor painted with Qianya pear, where the girl's faint body fragrance and lingering warmth lingered. Chiba Lihua quickly shook her head. She dared not hate Lu Feng. Even if she did, she could only do it secretly. If she were discovered, she would definitely be beaten, I mean to your uncle. Lihua thought for a long time last night, and now she can be said to be a mutiny and have nothing. Although it was difficult to conceal the sadness, Chiba pear painting also displayed an optimism that surprised Lu Feng. I want to survive first and then consider other things. Don't you want to reclaim your company? I want to, but what can I do? There are so many people in the company listening to him, and even spies are coming to pursue me. I just want to live. Chiba Lihua pouted, feeling innocent. Despite not provoking anyone, she was about to be chased and killed. Shouldn't you appear in public with great indignation and reveal your uncle's crimes? Lu Feng probed meaningfully. Chiba Lihua shook her head and said, that would kill you. It seems that you still have some brain. If you want to be by my side, it's best for you to know what to do and what not to do. I'll let you go east, but you absolutely can't go west. Do you understand? Although Chiba Lihua is timid, she is also very clever. She has no choice but to follow this seemingly powerful hacker for now. Wait until everything stabilizes before slowly planning. I'll go out and buy breakfast, you wait for me at home. Lu Feng got up and left the apartment, while Chiba Lihua was bored staying at home alone, so she turned on the TV. The news from last night is currently playing on the TV. Last night, a group of terrorists attacked the Lijing Hotel. In this attack, a total of 37 people were killed and 129 were injured. Among them, Chiba Ri, the heir of Shenqing Pharmaceutical Company, went missing in the attack. It is said that she appeared for the last time in a factory apartment in the south of the city. The apartment was attacked by terrorists, and search and rescue work is still ongoing. The camera then turned to Yuji Miyamoto, who was complaining bitterly on TV. This is a premeditated and organized terrorist attack. They kidnapped and killed my niece, and attacked our search and rescue personnel with bombs. The reporter then asked, so who do you think would do such a thing? We have traitors inside, they must be spies specially arranged by hostile companies. Now I have decided to launch a purge operation within the company, and I will use their blood to pay for my niece's life. Miyamoto Yuji was filled with grief and anger, and his performance was seamless. His face indeed seemed like a family member had died. Chiba Lihua touched his chin. Was it really that he misunderstood his uncle? In front of the evidence presented by Lu Feng, Qianya Lihua's suspicion was self-evident. Lu Feng returned from outside, holding breakfast in his hand, and saw Chiba Lihua pondering the interview on the TV, so he sat next to Lihua. If you think I'm lying to you, you can leave now. I don't restrict your freedom of movement. Lu Feng guessed Chiba Li's careful thinking and took out a piece of cake to nibble on. Qianya pear painting shook her head, whether it was true or false, she couldn't show her face now. Lu Feng saw her reaction like this and did not dissuade her anymore. He placed a piece of cake next to her and then watched TV. This guy needs to clean up the portal. Lihua didn't dare to speak, so Lu Feng smiled and said, let's guess who will be cleaned up. Chiba Li lowered her head and politely nibbled on the cake bought by Lu Feng, pretending to be unaware. Lu Feng saw that she was not speaking, so he took the initiative to say, anyone related to you will be cleared by him. Do you believe it? The atmosphere in the room was a bit dull, with Chiba pear painting puffing up her fragrant cheeks and her bright eyes raised. Are you saying Meiji Ishikawa? If I were Yuji Miyamoto, I would definitely kill Meiji Ishikawa. Lu Feng stared at Miyamoto on the TV with a very determined gaze. He is your personal bodyguard, a perfect scapegoat. Even if he's not an insider, he'll be kicked out for not fulfilling his duties. Chiba Lihua doesn't remember the scene at that time, but only knows that after being knocked unconscious by a fat man, she woke up and encountered a fierce gunfight. If he were smarter, he should be on guard now. When Lu Feng left the hotel, he left a sentence for Sichuan. If Meiji Ishikawa could understand, then he wouldn't die. It's just that Chiba Riki doesn't care about the life or death of Ishikawa Meiji. For her, Meiji Ishikawa was just an ordinary personal bodyguard, a consumable item. Even if she bounced to death on her behalf, Mari Chiba would not feel sad. At most, it may be a bit regrettable, after all, there won't be such loyal subordinates in the future. The company is taking action, and we absolutely cannot sit idly by. You cannot go out now, and your previous social media account cannot be used anymore. For this world, Chiba pair painting is already dead, understand? I understand. I plan to give you a new identity. Change your identity. Chiba Li's eyes lit up slightly as she was curious about her new identity. Just change your surname. Change your surname. Chiba Lihua opened her mouth in a daze, and Lu Feng spread out his hand. You can follow my surname from now on, call Lu Lihua. And your surname? Lihua's eyes flickered, his gaze dodged, and a few blushes gradually appeared on his pretty face. For Japanese girls, they would only follow their husband's surname after marrying into his family. Not willing. Lu Feng noticed the hesitation in Xinya Li's painting and furrowed his eyebrows slightly. Chiba pair painting quickly shook his hand and explained, it's either unwilling or... What is it? Lu Feng was unaware of the customs in Japan, and his intention was to have Chiba Lihua disguise himself as his younger sister. I'm still young, can we talk about getting married later? Chiba Lihua lowered her head and fiddled with her clothes, whispering softly. She dare not think about those things, nor does she want to marry a hacker as her wife, let alone have children. At this moment, she still fantasizes about one day returning to her upper-class society. Getting married. Lu Feng's head was full of question marks. When did he say he was going to marry Chiba Lihua? Isn't it? Chiba Lihua naively lifted his head. Sure, treat your company as a dowry and I'll marry you. Lu Feng still has so many female NPCs without a strategy, where would she hang from a tree? End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Xiao Zhao's Wealth Plan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Xiao Zhao's Wealth Plan, Task Update. Inheritors who have betrayed and become estranged from others, Task Description. Chiba pair painting needs a new identity, so we need to find someone who can apply for a fake identity. Let's first inquire around. The tasks in the system have been updated again, and Lu Feng plans to take action now. If we talk about the most informed Dream City, it is definitely not the intelligence department of Shenqing Medicine, but the intermediaries wandering the streets and alleys. Their informants and eyes are scattered throughout the city, and no wind or grass can escape their eyes. If you have anything to do, just ask them. I'll go out for a while. Stay at home and send me a message if there's any news. But you burned my communication. Chiba pair flattened its small mouth, as if expressing dissatisfaction. Lu Feng pointed to the computer on his desk. I have already encrypted that computer, and it has a dedicated network that I have established. No one can crack it in Dream City. You can use it with confidence, unless you kill yourself and leak the information. After walking to the door, Lu Feng still felt a bit uneasy and spoke again. If you dare to cause me trouble, I will sell you to a gang as a sex toy. What is a sexual partner? Chiba Lihua tilted her head, actually she understood the meaning a bit, but still wanted to ask. Lu Feng's mouth twitched and he said, it's just asking you to stand on the street and sell in crowded places. Lu Feng angrily closed the door, and Lihua was stunned. After regaining his senses, he touched his body and trembled coldly. I don't want it, you have to sell it yourself. Bang! Lu Feng returned again, holding a gun in his hand. This scared Chiba pair painting, her face turned pale. Lu Feng pressed tightly step by step, with a stiff face, and nervously retreated Lihua. After retreating to the corner, Chiba Lihua's legs became soft and trembling, and her clear eyes were filled with fear. I didn't mean that. What does it mean? Lu Feng didn't hear Chiba Lihua's words and didn't understand what she meant. He handed the gun to Chiba Lihua and said, "You know how to use the gun, you're really in trouble. At least you can still struggle with it." Chiba Lihua was taken aback and took the heavy, sophisticated Viper rifle. Viper rifle, category. Kinetic energy rifle, quality. Excellent, DPS. 127, special effect. Bullets hitting walls will bounce, description. A cost-effective, inexpensive, and user-friendly rifle is the preferred weapon for gangsters. Let's go. Lu Feng has gone out again. Lihua sat slumped on the ground, wiped his neck, and found that he was sweating profusely. After Lu Feng left, he contacted Xiao. Xiao asked Lu Feng to wait for her downstairs, and she wanted to give him a surprise. About 10 minutes later, a passionate and surging wave of traffic caught Lu Feng's attention. I saw a black sword rushing into the road, causing the car in front to brake suddenly and curse in a hurry. Black Lightning, the most expensive and famous luxury sports car in Dream City. As its name suggests, the lightning streamlined body of the car features sharp and symmetrical sharp corners, and the low chassis allows for a more stable center of gravity at high speeds. The black paint shines brightly in the sunlight. The air valve was released, and the car door spread its wings. Sitting inside was Xiao, who patted the co-pilot and said, "Come up quickly." Lu Feng was slightly surprised as he sat in the car. The view inside the car was very broad, and there was a map projection of Dream City on the glass window. The highly technological interior had a cyber flavor. "How about it, do you feel like you've become more upscale?" Xiao smiled and leaned in. Lu Feng noticed that all the clothes on her body had been changed to expensive brands. "It's truly you." Lu Feng stared at Xiao for a moment. Xiao is looking forward to a positive evaluation from Lu Feng. "Does it look good? Is the toilet gilded?" "I know you can't say anything good in your mouth," Xiao snorted. Lu Feng never said anything good. "You're quite quick. I only gave you the money yesterday, so you picked up the car and bought clothes today." I had planned it before taking action, let's take it seriously." Xiao took out a pink notebook, and Lu Feng took it and sniffed it hard. The faint mint fragrance made Lu Feng lift his hair and let out a soothing sound. Xiao Wei's notebook, give it a thumbs up. "No one can match you in being a hooligan," Xiao sneered, but his eyes were filled with a smile. Lu Feng opened his notebook, which was written in elegant Chinese font. Xiao's wealth plan: becoming a rich person, square root, buy nice clothes, want swift brand, square root, buy a sports car, preferably Black Lightning, square root, I need a large cruise ship, buy a floating car, there is a small island with its own sea view villa, driving a big cruise ship, taking your beloved to travel around the world. Lu Feng closed his notebook and said, "Are you referring to the consumption bill? Wealth planning shouldn't be about money generating money, investing in assets or something." "Oh, there's no big difference," Xiao stuck out her tongue. "She doesn't have the vision of those capitalists, nor does she know anything about investment." Carefully putting away the notebook, Xiao said, "We have already partially realized it now. Also, who is your crush?" At first glance, Lu Feng focused on the key points. In the first week, Xiao received the boxed lunch early, which resulted in Lu Feng having the least understanding of her. "This is a secret, I can't tell you." Xiao mischievously stuck out his tongue, while Lu Feng narrowed his eyes and playfully said, "What would you do if your crush was currently living with a beautiful girl?" "You think I'm going to be fooled, right?" Xiao turned his head arrogantly, but a charming pink blush appeared on his face. Lu Feng smiled smugly and leaned back on the chair, stretching lazily, probably knowing in his heart. Xiao turned around gossipily and patted Lu Feng, asking, "By the way, what do you think of the Qianya pair painting?" Lu Feng gave a teasing smile. "Excellent, delicate and easy to push down, with good teeth and appetite." Xiao tilted his head in confusion. "What is this guy up to? What I mean is, do you think Chiba pair painting is reliable? What if she betrays us? Drive to the Doomsday Bar, we'll discuss the details on the way." Lu Feng is well versed in Qianya pair painting. Her personality is that kind of weak with a hint of rebellion. If you scare her a little, she will immediately be honest and gentle, serving you tea and water, undressing and sleeping. On the way, Lu Feng told Xiao his plan, and Xiao also felt that Qianya Lihua really needed a new identity now. The two of them arrived at the Doomsday Bar, where people were still coming and going, and they were still blocked outside the door. "Hey, why are you still blocking us this time?" Xiao clenched his fist. "Is there any difference between this time and last time?" Andrew spread his hand. He was the security guard who had previously stopped Xiao and Lu Feng, and could be considered a mid-term NPC. If Xiao were to confront him at this moment, there would be no better choice but to run. Damn it. Xiao couldn't say anything and could only swallow this breath. "Mr. Andrew, we are here to find the intermediary Miss Renera. Miss just left, you guys go. This is a little token of appreciation. I hope you can introduce us to her." Lu Feng gave Andrew a tip of 500 yuan directly, and after receiving the money, Andrew's attitude towards the two of them also improved slightly. "If you're willing to wait, go in and wait. Sure, if she comes, tell her that someone is waiting for her at 211. Lu Feng took Xiao to the Doomsday Bar and made a fuss by choosing a luxurious private room on the second floor. The panoramic glass window revealed the hot dance on the dance floor and the hot rabbit girl. Xiao looked at those women with heavy makeup and was very disgusted. "It's really ugly, would men really like that kind of woman?" The answer is, yes. Lu Feng ordered a glass of sparkling water, his gaze also wandering on those fat buttocks and breasts. Xiao stood in front of Lu Feng with his mouth bulging, appearing like a swollen little pufferfish, very cute. "Where are they looking? Shit, if you put on a bunny girl costume and start squirming, I promise I'll also hug you and dance a song. Don't be too absurd." Xiao knew that this guy had some evil little quirks, but at least he had some tricks around him. If you have free recommendation and monthly tickets in your hands, you can vote to support the author. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Bad Women. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Bad Women. Lu Feng's legs crossed high and raised, staring intently at the hot dance. Xiao dragged his chin with one hand and played 2 dice with the other hand in a bored manner. A cool breeze came from the door, accompanied by a fragrant fragrance. Andrew said, "Someone came specifically to find me." A frivolous and seductive voice sounded, but Lu Feng didn't turn back and still leaned back on the sofa to enjoy the dance below. Xiao glanced sideways at the woman. The woman is wearing a black hip-wrap skirt, a tight white shirt that perfectly outlines her figure, black silk-wrapped calves that are thin and long, and high heels that create a lively rhythm on the floor. "He's looking for you, not me." Xiao pointed to Lu Feng sitting across from him. Faced with a woman with a strong aura, especially her curvaceous chest, Xiao felt immense psychological pressure. She looked at herself with a slight sense of inferiority. Little sister is really interesting. Lanera's teasing gaze swept over Xiao's body and she sat beside Lu Feng with a smile on her face. A faint fragrance struck, and Lu Feng glanced slightly, his gaze involuntarily looking down. The person who can secure a VIP private room has a rich or powerful background. "Who are you?" "I am a famous lion, you should have heard of me." "Oh." Such an undisguised self-introduction made Lanera suddenly curious about the man in front of her. In Dream City, she knows many big shots, including business tycoons, political counselors, and legends from Dream City, but she never heard of a famous lion emerging at any time. When did this character emerge? I thought your knowledge was as broad as your chest, but now it seems that the legend of the knight Lanera is just like that. Hee, little brother is really interesting. Those old guys are the only ones who dare to provoke me like this in Dream City. Lanera approached Lu Feng, her fair arms wrapped around his neck, and the two sat very affectionately. The warm and soft touch stunned Lu Feng's body, and Lanera let out a faint breath in his ear. As a man, Lu Feng also blushed a bit. Xiao watched with relish from the side. He used to think that Lu Feng was an impeccable thug, but it turned out he was just a silver spear with a wax head. It seems that subduing perverts can only be done using more perverted methods. Please come here to help me with something. Lanera will definitely follow the instructions given by the master well. Oh, you're really shameless. Xiao felt embarrassed when he heard their conversation. It seems that I'm holding you, but your little girlfriend is not very happy. I'll be happy, but if you feel it's inconvenient, we can move to another place. Lu Feng began to counterattack on his momentum, dealing with this woman. Once she gained the upper hand, the next step was endless teasing and torture. A seemingly gentle embrace may actually be a deadly poison. In Dream City, many men who couldn't resist temptation collapsed under her pomegranate skirt. Okay, Lanera will definitely meet the master's request. Hello, where are you going? Xiao stood up anxiously when he saw Lu Feng and Lanera getting up to leave. Let's have a deeper exchange. Lu Feng slowly hugged Lanera's slender waist. Don't be fooled by bad women. Xiao thought that Lu Feng was really captivated, and Lu Feng's eyes blinked at her. Xiao saw it, but still felt uneasy. I'll go too. Ha, it seems that your little girlfriend can't resist loneliness, but it's only fun when there are too many people. Looking at Lanera's proud smile, Lu Feng took a deep breath and said to Xiao, don't go. Why? Why, with your right to a. Lu Feng walked past Xiao. Xiao was stunned, and the rosy glow that appeared on her pretty face gradually filled her ears. She looked down unwillingly and then loudly retorted, it's good to have B, do you really understand? I know you do, it seems like some woman doesn't, just wait for me here, I won't be too long. Lu Feng's voice drifted from behind. Lanera's mouth curved slightly with a hint of meaning, and the two of them walked out shoulder to shoulder. Xiao stood there foolishly, chewing on the meaning of Lu Feng's words just now. He was stunned for a while before shouting loudly at the door. You should die in the arms of a woman, stinky thug. Arriving in a separate room with Lanera, she elegantly landed on a sofa and then lifted her proud black long legs, exuding a powerful aura like a visiting queen. Lu Feng closed the door and took off a coat to hang on the cabinet. Come on, let's get started, Lanera's rosy lips lightly lifted. Lu Feng knew that this woman liked to tease when she spoke, and was accustomed to her way of speaking. He sat beside her without any hesitation or crossing boundaries. This way of getting along has increased Lanera's liking for Lu Feng. In the past, men either couldn't resist temptation and always wanted to take advantage, or they thought she was a snake and scorpion woman and kept her distance. For the former, they often become Renala's prey, while for the latter, Renala will not cooperate with them. Therefore, she has few admirers and no like-minded companions. Lu Feng's gesture of pointing all the way won her approving gaze. It's like this, I need to help my friend create a fake identity. No problem, I can help you get in touch, Lanera readily agreed. Well, it's not difficult to do this with your relationship. Do you seem to know me well? Lanera leaned forward gently, her rosy lips slightly lifted, and the corners of her mouth curved slightly, approaching the landing maple. If you're willing, I can also get to know you better. The fragrance that came towards him could not affect Lu Feng's consciousness. He confidently stared at Lanera and answered calmly. Haha, you're really interesting. I've never seen someone like you before. Lihua smiled and sat up straight, crossing her legs. I really like you. Where do you like? Lu Feng continued to ask. Lihua let go of her previous rebellious posture and elegantly covered her mouth with a smile. She stood up and boldly sat on Lu Feng's lap. Although Lihua was 1.7 meters tall, her weight was particularly light and her figure was well controlled to the point of explosion. Darling, you really know me so well that you know exactly how to talk to me. You're definitely not here to get a fake certificate, are you? Of course, I have said that there should be in-depth communication between us. Haha, alright, I'll give you this opportunity just to keep pushing you like this. Xiao paced anxiously in the VIP private room, feeling as if ants were crawling on her every extra minute. I don't know why, she doesn't have that much malice towards Chiba Lihua, but she hates this big-chested woman very much. No, I have to go take a look. Xiao felt that if he didn't take action, things would get out of control. She seemed to have a picture of Lu Feng being held by a bad woman in her mind. Just as he left, Xiao Duan bumped into someone who was very soft and elastic. Oh my, little sister, don't worry. I just borrowed your boyfriend to use it for a while, didn't I give it back to you? Lihua smiled. Xiao felt like he was going to explode. What about others? I don't know. Xiao clenched his fists. If it weren't for the difficulty of fighting in the bar, Xiao would have had to educate this bad woman. Xiao, let's go. Lu Feng turned out from the corner toilet. Xiao chased after Lu Feng and stared up and down fiercely. Fortunately, Lu Feng was fine. Xiao finally breathed a sigh of relief, but still pouted angrily. You now have the scent of a bad woman on you. Lu Feng was said to be confused, and roast, please. Next time, your taste will be better. Sorry, we have an appointment today and we're unable to update on time. The author has scheduled a time tomorrow. End of this chapter.